Welcome to the Great Start Podcast, a podcast that brings you up to speed with matters Formula One. So sit in your cockpits, rev your engines, and let's go. Welcome to the podcast, guys. My name is Brian Kibet, aka your local Formula One guy, and I am back again to bring you up to speed with what went down in the second part of the triple header, the last triple header of the 2021 Grand Prix. So welcome back, guys. First things first. Hope you've had an amazing time. I've been out for the past 2 weeks, and I want to first apologize for that. A little things were happening on my side of life, but regardless of the situation, I am back. I'm fully back with more episodes, with much more content. I got a lot that is in store for you guys for the coming year and the coming episodes. So stay tuned, guys. We are going to have an amazing time together. We are going to grow together in this world of Formula One. And as I say in the start, let's go. It has been a triple header weekend, where we started with the Mexico Grand Prix. And this weekend, we had the second part of the Grand Prix, which was the Sao Paulo Grand Prix and not the Brazil Grand Prix. Yeah. In the past, it has been called the Brazil Grand Prix, but this year, they decided to call it the Sao Paulo Grand Prix just to promote Sao Paulo as a town. You know, we haven't raced there since 2019. So really, they wanted to promote Sao Paulo to help it grow its tourism and all. And oh my, if you're going to be having races like that every time at Interlagos, man, take me there. Put a direct flight from Nairobi to Sao Paulo, because I will be going. We had an amazing race in Sao Paulo. Racing race at Interlagos. The track is also called Interlagos here. And we had an amazing weekend with quite a show down at two main garages that we are all looking at this season. That is the Mercedes garage and the Red Bull garage. But first things first, the rivalry between Mercedes and Red Bull grows further this race. Mercedes had quite a bad weekend, if so I may say, quite a bad weekend in the sense that the first part of the weekend was really bad. This weekend was not like normal weekends. For those who may not know, Formula One this season has been trying out a new weekend format, which is on our normal race weekend, we would have the practice 1 on Friday and practice 2 on Friday as well. Then on Saturday, we'd have practice 3 and qualifying. Then on Sunday, we'd have the race. But on special weekends like this, which have been 3 this year, we have had a special format, which is on Friday, we are having practice 1 and qualifying. On Saturday, we have practice 2 and a sprint race. And what a sprint race is basically a 30-minute race, full pedal to the metal, where all the drivers are going hard on racing. They are pit stops are not allowed. So pitting is not allowed. It is just full on race. Yeah. And now the results of the sprint weekend are what give us the grid format for Sunday. Yeah. So get this. On Friday, we have practice 1 and qualifying. Qualifying now gives us a grid for the sprint race. On Saturday, we have practice 2 and the sprint race, which the sprint race now gives us a grid for the race. So that's how it has been this Brazil Grand Prix. So when you hear me talk about qualifying on Friday, by the way, don't get shocked, because we are still in the same boat. We're in the same level. So basically, when I say Mercedes had a bad weekend, they started off with a 5-place grid penalty, courtesy of an engine change that they had to do on Lewis Hamilton's car due to reliability. Mercedes have been struggling with reliability all through the season. And it's ironical because all these other years before 2021, Mercedes engines have been very reliable to the point that you do not notice them even having any problems with any engine parts or anything. But this season, it has tended to be different. This season, we've had Mercedes struggling with some engine parts. We've seen Bottas get almost 4 engine changes, 4 grid penalties, courtesy of engine changes. This is, I think, the third Hamilton has had. So, I mean, the reliability on Mercedes' end is a little wanting for the 2021 season, but hey, it's coming to an end. So far, so good. We still have a very tight championship fight. Oof. Yeah, But regardless of the situation, they still have had reliability issues. I don't know whether it has been brought about by the cost cap that they've put. Yeah. So again, for those who may not be aware, starting this season, the 2021 season, Formula One has put a cost cap. Yeah, Formula One has put a cost cap on the teams and how much they can spend throughout the season. So I feel probably this is my opinion. Is not to be put into other words and not to be placed misinterpreted, really. But I think one reason why Mercedes probably is struggling with the reliability is courtesy of that cost cap. Mercedes had an endless amount of money. They had amazing resources. If they needed it, they got it. Money was not the issue. Yeah, money was never the issue. So we find that once the cost cap has been put, now they have to reduce the resources they're working with. They have to reduce the tests they're doing on certain parts of the engine. They have to reduce everything to downsize in order to fit that cost cap. So obviously downsizing will have some effects. Yeah, it'll have some effects. Whereby you find that probably they'll be sacrificing something, probably reliability, so they can test other things in the car instead of just testing the engine alone. You see? Something of that sort. But hey, that's just what I'm thinking. That's just how I think about it. But regardless of the situation, Lewis went into the Sao Paulo Grand Prix with a 5-place grid penalty, of which started off the bad turn of events that happened over the weekend. So what happened is we had Hamilton getting a penalty during the qualifying session on Friday, because his car had a technical infringement, as we call it. And I'd really like to explain what exactly happened so that you get to know what happened, the technical details. So the DRS in a Formula One car, the drag reduction system, that's what it means in full, is meant to assist the Formula One car overtake, gain some advantage. Yeah, it's actually an overtaking tool. It helps the Formula One car gain some advantage over the car it is overtaking. So it adds like 21 kilometers on top, 21 kilometers per hour on top, just to help the car that is overtaking gain more speed so that it can overtake. Yeah, but then there is a limit to how much the DRS can open. Yeah, for those who don't know where the DRS is located, the DRS is on the rear wing, at the rear wing of the car. Yeah, so I don't know whether you've seen the Formula One car. Once probably they're following someone really, really, really close, and then you see something open at the back. Yeah, that is the DRS. So the DRS has a limit to how much it's supposed to open. Yeah, the maximum gap measured should be 85 millimeters. Yeah. It should be an 85 millimeter space between the top of the bottom of the DRS. The space should be 85 millimeters. Yeah, the space should be 85 millimeters. And that space should be 85 millimeters, even with a 10 Newton load put on it. Yeah, even with a 10 Newton load put on it. So what happens is if that gap, if the FIA test it, and a special gauge they have that is 85 millimeters goes through, it goes through the space, then the car has failed the test. What do I mean by when the gauge goes through? If the gauge goes through, what that means is that the space is more than 85 millimeters, And if the space is more than 85 millimeters, let's say 90 millimeters, that means there's a wider gap. And if there's a wider gap, that means the car is having an advantage over the others. That means because it can gain more speed. It won't gain another 20, 21 kilometers per hour that it's supposed to be gaining. Probably gaining 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. Yeah. So the FIA tested the Mercedes-Benz after the qualifying, and they noticed that the gauge did not go through at the middle of the DRS, but towards the edges of the DRS, of the rear wing. Once the DRS is open, the gap went through. And they tested it almost 3 times. And still, the gauges went through. And that is how Hamilton got his qualifying disqualified. Yeah, pretty much that is what happened. Still, it was not good. That was just one of the other downfalls of Mercedes throughout the weekend. But then from then on, it has just been pedal to the metal. Hamilton has brought out all his goodness, all his experience and all. And my oh my, haven't we seen some of the best races Hamilton? As in, we have witnessed history. I feel like we have witnessed history. It's one of the best races Hamilton has had in quite a long time. Yeah, he got to win the Grand Prix, still keeping him in the championship fight with Verstappen. But I feel like this is one of his best races in his career. And just as the title of this podcast is, if at all Hamilton ever releases a movie, yeah, about how his racing life has been, I feel like the Sao Paulo 2021 Grand Prix should be a headliner. Yeah, I'm really used to calling this Grand Prix, this Brazil Grand Prix. Yeah, still not yet really captured my head. That's supposed to be Sao Paulo, but regardless of the situation, you do understand what I'm saying. If Hamilton ever gets to release a movie or anything, this Grand Prix should be in it. Yeah. So from the down, the only way is up. Yeah, the only way is up. So pretty much after he got the disqualification, he got to do the sprint race starting from P20, and my oh my, did we see quite a race. Yeah. Hamilton had one of his best sprint races, actually one of the best sprint races, one of his best performances, where he was able to charge from 20th to 5th. I mean, those are 15 clean overtakes in 24 laps. He is a goat. Like, we cannot say anything. I am personally, I am a Verstappen fan. I'm a very avid Verstappen fan and Red Bull fan from quite a long time ago. But seeing Hamilton, witnessing that, I feel like that is such a very big part of history that we've just witnessed. Yeah? And so he was able to cover up, do damage control for the qualifying that he was disqualified from. And he came up to P5, but he still had a grid penalty for the maximum allowances of engines that he could use. So he ended up starting Sunday at P10. But in two laps, he was halfway through that. So by lap 3, he was P5. On Sunday, that is just godly performance. A very quick performance. The Mercedes was really fast in the streets, unbelievably fast. And I think it was also coupled with the fact that he had a new engine in the car. So really, he was maxing it. If so I may say, Lewis was maxing it. Yeah. So all in all, I feel like Lewis did the best he could, the best performance he has had in quite a long time. And even though the steward still have a problem with him, apparently during the last complete lap of the race, after he passed the finish line, he loosened his belts just to get a little wiggling space, and apparently the stewards have a problem with that, and the rules don't say that you actually say that you're not supposed to loosen your belts. But still, he had an awesome race, an amazing race. Kudos to Hamilton, amazing drive. But the question still remains. Do you think Verstappen ran Hamilton off the track while Hamilton was doing his overtake? Do you think he ran him off? Personally, however much I'm a Verstappen fan, I do think Verstappen did just a little bit running off the track. But we will not know very soon, since there's no camera footage available to us, right, as of now. Yeah, probably by the time this goes up, there could be camera footage, there may not be camera footage. But depending on the situation, personally, I do feel like there is a very high probability that Verstappen did not use steering wheel a little towards the outside of the corner, yeah, outside of the turn, just to eat up the whole part of the track. But from another angle, one would say also that Verstappen did not do that, because if you also noticed, Verstappen also went out himself. He didn't go. It wasn't him staying on track and Hamilton on the way much way outside. Yeah, the track. So really, I feel like this is a really personal decision, a personal opinion that you, probably the podcast listener or whoever is listening to this, can make. Yeah, but personally, I do think Verstappen ran off Hamilton. Period. Yes, I am a Verstappen fan. Do not get me wrong. I am a very avid Verstappen fan. But yeah, if it happened, it happened. If I think it did happen, yeah, it's just an opinion. Speaking of Verstappen, talk about bad luck. Yeah, him getting a £50,000 penalty for just touching the rear wing of Lewis Hamilton's car. £50,000 penalty. If you translate that to Kenyan shillings, that's 4.76 million. 4.76 million. Actually, 5.76 million. 5.76 million Kenyan shillings for just touching the rear wing of a driver's car. Okay, I do understand there are rules against that. You're not supposed to touch another vehicle. Actually, there's not supposed to be any interference of any car in park farm conditions. Park farm conditions basically means whenever the cars are put together, probably at the race end or something, no team is supposed to interfere with any car. So if I have a team, then I'm not supposed to even interfere with my own car until the FIA does its scrutineering and approves that everything is fine. Now you can touch the car. Yeah. So basically, that is what happened. £50,000 penalty. Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's actually fair for him to get such a penalty? Still, just like the Hamilton issue, this is also, and it's just like the Verstappen issue of him pushing Hamilton out. I feel like this is also quite a subjective decision, a subjective opinion. It depends on you. But I feel like there were too much. £50,000, surely, just for touching? No, it's too much. I felt like it was a little too much, a little over the edge. But regardless of the situation, down at the Red Bull garage, they have had an amazing race. This Brazilian Grand Prix, the Sao Paulo, the Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo. Yeah, they've had an amazing race. They were actually really quick. Just not as quick as Lewis was and Bottas and Mercedes in general. But they were really quick. They didn't have the straight line speed. Even Verstappen said it himself. After the race, that he did not feel like they were quick enough to handle that. And you could see it even as he was defending. I mean, 3 laps in, he just couldn't defend any longer. Yeah, basically that. Verstappen was really good during the weekend, but just not good enough. Yeah. But the title still continues. I love the energy this season has. I love how energy packed it is. You know, by this time last year's season, we already had a winner. Lewis had already been crowned the 2020 Grand Prix championship winner. Yeah, so everyone else was fighting for every other position. But I love how this time we have gone all the way to the end. And who knows, this title might just be contended during the last lap, during the last race of the year, which is in Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina Circuit. So let's just wait and see. Yeah. But down at the McLaren garage this weekend, they did have a really, really, really good weekend. Ricardo retired. Norris had a puncture on the first lap. I mean, yeah, I feel like ever since Ricardo won, he's been having a little trouble. He's been having a little. McLaren have been struggling a little to do with the reliability, a little to do with probably some crashes here and there. But they will be back. I feel like this is a team that could do really well, could perform really well with just the right amount of consistency. Just the right amount of consistency would work really well with the McLaren. And I mean, they were really consistent actually in the first part of the year, first part of the season. Look at them, they were way ahead of Ferrari. They're actually P3 in the Constructors' Championship, and Norris was P3 also in the Drivers' Championship. But as it stands right now, there is a struggle. Ferrari has surpassed them in the Constructors. I'm not so sure about the Drivers' Championships, but in the Constructors' Championships now, Ferrari has a lead. Yeah, and they've been pushing consistent performances all through these last few races of the year. So really, for McLaren, consistency, man. Consistency is what you're looking for and nothing else, yeah? But really, those are just some of the highlights in the Brazilian Grand Prix. We had Mazepin also crying early in the year, but early in the weekend. Okay, no, not crying. He had balancing tears. I was reading an article today. Basically, it was just explaining why probably he could have been in tears. And we've had some recent departures from the Haas team. And he wasn't very happy about that, clearly. But all in all, those have been the highlights of the Brazilian Grand Prix, Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And next weekend, actually this weekend, we go into Qatar. The first time we race in Qatar. The track has been there. It's not a new track like Jeddah, but it's the first time we race in Qatar. It is all systems go. I mean, I can't wait to see what will happen in this coming race. For me, my grid predictions, I feel like at the stage we are in right now, of the championships of the season, Verstappen and Hamilton cannot miss a 1-2 at one point. And I feel like Verstappen will be on the offense this time. Yeah. So Verstappen, P1, Hamilton, P2, then probably Bottas or Perez, P3. Yeah. It's a very standard grid, very standard podium, but I feel like it's what makes sense the most right now if you think through it. Yeah. So tell me, who do you think will join the podium? Who do you think will be P1, P2, and P3? Who do you think will get pole position on the grid on Saturday? Join our Discord community at the Grid Start podcast server on Discord and tell me. Who do you think will join? Who do you think will form the podium in the Saturday Qatar Grand Prix? Yeah. Feel free to also DM me at Kibet_Ketero on Instagram. Tell me, who do you think will join the Grand Prix? The link to my Discord community will be attached below, just in the description of this episode's podcast. But all in all, we have had an amazing triple header so far. And as it goes to the end, we wish ourselves nothing but enjoyment as we watch this Qatar Grand Prix. So see you guys in Qatar.